The iconic Batman TV series from the 1960s brought us unforgettable performances, from Adam West's charismatic Caped Crusader to Burt Ward's energetic Robin. But what happened to the stars who brought Gotham City to life? Nearly 60 years later, let's take a look at how the legendary cast has changed over the decades and where they are now in 2025. Bruce Lee, who played Kato, the highly skilled martial artist and sidekick to the Green Hornet, was only 25 years old when he joined the series in 1966. His lightning-fast reflexes and groundbreaking martial arts choreography made him a standout, but Hollywood failed to recognize his full potential. Born on November 27, 1940, Lee passed away on July 20, 1973, at just 32 years old under mysterious circumstances. His career post-Batman saw some success, especially with Enter the Dragon, but he constantly battled Hollywood's reluctance to cast an Asian lead. He married Linda Lee Cadwell, and they had 2 children, Brandon and Shannon Lee. Tragedy struck the family again when Brandon was killed in a film set accident in 1993. Lee's relentless drive for perfection took a toll on his health, with intense training regimens possibly contributing to the cerebral edema that led to his untimely death. At the time of his passing, his estate was worth around $10 million, though it has since grown through his posthumous legacy. His life was one of brilliance and tragedy, forever changing martial arts and cinema while also highlighting Hollywood's racial barriers. Alan Napier, who played the ever-loyal Alfred Pennyworth, was already a veteran actor at 63 when he joined Batman. His dignified presence and measured delivery gave Alfred an air of wisdom and warmth that resonated with audiences. His role as Alfred became his most iconic, yet after Batman ended, he found it difficult to secure significant roles, as Hollywood often overlooked aging actors. His personal life was more stable. He was married to Aileen Dickens Hawksley, a descendant of Charles Dickens, and their marriage lasted until his death. However, his later years were plagued by health problems. A series of strokes left him weak and dependent on care, leading to a life of increasing isolation. By the time he passed away in 1988 at the age of 85, much of his wealth had been spent on medical expenses. Despite once having a comfortable financial standing, his estate was estimated to be worth around $1 million at the time of his death. His legacy, however, remains invaluable to fans of Batman and classic Hollywood. Adam West, who portrayed the iconic Batman in the 1966 to 1968 series, was 37 years old at the time of his role. His portrayal of the Dark Knight was marked by a unique blend of campy humor, a strong moral compass, and a dignified sense of justice, setting him apart from other renditions of the character. Despite the show's immense popularity, West faced personal challenges following its end. His marriage to his first wife, Billie Lou Yeager, ended in divorce after a few years. Later, he married Marcelle, née Naus, in 1970, with whom he had 2 children. However, this marriage was also troubled, and they separated for a period. West's career following Batman struggled to escape the shadow of the campy series, and he faced typecasting, leading him to take roles in lesser-known projects. While he appeared in films and TV shows, his fame often declined, and he struggled financially at times. Adam West's personal life, especially his relationships, reflected a sense of loneliness and discontentment, even as he maintained a public image of charm and humor. In his later years, he remained active, lending his voice to animated shows like Family Guy. But the past still haunted him. West died on June 9, 2017, at the age of 88 from leukemia. His estate was valued at around $6 million, a portion of which went to support animal rights and other charitable causes he championed. Burt Ward, who portrayed Robin, the energetic and fiercely loyal sidekick to Batman, was just 21 years old when the series debuted in 1966. His youthful exuberance and unwavering devotion to the Dark Knight made him a fan favorite. However, outside the cape and mask, Ward's personal life was far less heroic. He married 4 times, with each relationship plagued by turmoil. His first marriage to Bonnie Lindsay ended in divorce, despite having a daughter together. Subsequent marriages followed similar patterns of discord and heartbreak. While he remained involved in entertainment, typecasting prevented him from finding the same level of success, leading to financial struggles. Ward turned to various business ventures, including a dog food company promoting pet welfare. Though he has found purpose in his later years, his early fame brought personal challenges that lingered for decades. Now 79 years old, his estimated net worth is around $20 million, though much of it is tied to his animal rescue efforts rather than Hollywood success. Neil Hamilton, best known for his portrayal of Commissioner Gordon in Batman, 1966 to 1968, was already a Hollywood veteran when he took on the role at age 67. His performance as the steadfast and principled police commissioner made him a familiar face to a new generation of viewers, though his career had begun decades earlier in the silent film era. His personal life was steadier. He was married to Elsa Whitmer for over 50 years, and they had one child together. However, behind closed doors, financial strain loomed over the family. After Batman ended, Hamilton found few acting opportunities, forcing him into an early retirement. His final years were marked by health issues, including complications from asthma. He passed away in 1984 at the age of 85. Despite his once thriving career, financial difficulties followed him to the end, and at the time of his death, his estate was estimated to be worth around $500,000, a modest sum for someone who had once graced the golden age of Hollywood. Stafford Repp, who portrayed Chief O'Hara in Batman, 1966 to 1968, was 48 years old when he took on the role of the loyal and steadfast police chief. His character, often depicted as bumbling yet well-meaning, brought comedic relief to the series. Despite the success of the show, Repp's personal life was far from ideal. He was married but had a strained relationship with his spouse, exacerbated by his struggles with alcoholism. He never had children, which some sources suggest was a source of deep regret for him. After Batman ended, Repp struggled to find significant acting roles, often typecast due to his strong association with Chief O'Hara. Financial instability plagued his later years, and he eventually transitioned into a behind-the-scenes career, investing in a small sound company. However, his health deteriorated rapidly in the early 1970s. He suffered a fatal heart attack on November 5, 1974, at the age of 56. At the time of his passing, he was reportedly worth around $250,000, much of which was tied to his modest real estate investments. His death was a shock to his colleagues, many of whom remembered him as a kind but troubled soul. Madge Blake, who played Aunt Harriet Cooper, was 67 when she joined Batman, 1966 to 1968, as Bruce Wayne's caring and supportive aunt. Off-screen, Blake was known as a warm yet fragile woman. She had been married to James Lincoln Blake, a military officer, but their union was strained by long separations and disagreements over her acting career. They never had children, something she lamented in her later years. While she had a successful career in the 1950s and early 1960s, her health took a sharp decline during Batman. She suffered from severe heart problems, which limited her appearances on the show in its final seasons. After Batman was cancelled, she found herself mostly out of work, facing mounting medical expenses. Isolated and in financial difficulty, she lived her final years in a small home, relying on the help of friends and former colleagues. She passed away on February 19, 1969, at the age of 69 due to a heart attack. At the time of her death, her financial situation was dire, with an estimated net worth of less than $10,000. Cesar Romero, who famously played the Joker, was 59 when he took on the role of Batman's most iconic nemesis. His portrayal of the mischievous, larger-than-life villain, complete with his refusal to shave his mustache for the role, made him a standout in the series. Despite his on-screen charisma, Romero led a complex and, at times, deeply lonely life. He never married, and rumors swirled about his private romantic life, with many believing he struggled with societal pressures regarding his sexuality. While his career flourished before and after Batman, he never found true companionship, which left him feeling isolated in his later years. Though he continued acting well into the 1980s, his health declined due to complications from bronchitis and pneumonia. He passed away on January 1, 1994, at the age of 86. Despite his struggles, he had managed his finances well, leaving behind an estate valued at approximately $5 million. He remained a beloved Hollywood figure, admired for his sharp wit and professionalism, though those close to him knew he had endured many silent battles throughout his life. Burgess Meredith, who brought the cunning and eccentric Penguin to life in Batman, 1966 to 1968, was already a seasoned actor at 58 when he took on the role. His portrayal, complete with the signature squawking laugh and ever-present cigarette holder, became iconic. Yet, behind the success, Meredith's personal life was fraught with turmoil. He was married 4 times, with his longest-lasting marriage to Kaya Sunston, which bore him 2 children, Jonathan and Tala. While he found some stability in his later years, his earlier relationships were riddled with infidelity and heartbreak. Professionally, despite critical acclaim in films like Rocky, he struggled with financial instability. In his final years, Meredith battled Alzheimer's and melanoma, spending his last days largely secluded, relying on his wife for care. He passed away in 1997 at the age of 89. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at around $3 million, a modest sum compared to his early Hollywood earnings, much of which had been lost to failed investments and medical expenses. Julie Newmar, the captivating and agile Catwoman, was 33 when she first donned the sleek black suit in Batman. Her feline grace and seductive charm made her a standout in the role, but her personal life was less glamorous. Though never officially married, she had a long-term relationship that ended in heartbreak. She later had a son, John Jules Smith, who was born with disabilities, leading her to dedicate much of her later life to his care. Despite her stunning beauty and intelligence, Newmar struggled with finding lasting love, often expressing regret over failed romances. Professionally, she found sporadic success in film and television, but never quite recaptured the stardom Batman had given her. Now at 91, she lives a quiet life, indulging in gardening, real estate ventures, and occasional public appearances. Though her net worth is estimated at around $5 million, she has led a life of solitude, often reminiscing about her golden days in Hollywood. Monty Landis, who portrayed Basil in 3 episodes of Batman in 1967, was 34 years old at the time. His character was a cunning yet somewhat comedic accomplice to various villains, often outwitted by the Caped Crusader. Born on April 20, 1933, Landis is now 91 years old. After Batman, he struggled to find consistent roles, often being typecast in minor villain roles that never led to major stardom. His personal life was fraught with difficulty. He married twice, first to a fellow actress who left him after a few years, citing his struggles with depression and career frustrations. His second marriage lasted longer but was tumultuous, ultimately ending in divorce. Landis had 1 son, who distanced himself from his father due to ongoing financial instability. Despite his initial success, Landis faced health complications later in life, including heart disease and financial struggles, as his savings dwindled. His estimated net worth today is under $100,000, and he lives a reclusive life, occasionally making appearances at fan conventions to support himself. Van Williams, who portrayed the Green Hornet in Batman, was 32 years old when he took on the role of the masked vigilante. His suave yet fearless persona made him an iconic character in the series, but his career after the show never reached the same heights. Born on February 27, 1934, Williams passed away on November 28, 2016, at the age of 82. He married his longtime love, Vicky Flaxman, and they remained together until his passing. However, despite their enduring marriage, Williams struggled with regrets over his stagnant career, turning to business ventures outside of Hollywood. He had 3 children, but his relationship with them was distant due to his internal struggles with fading fame. Throughout his later years, he battled kidney disease and financial insecurity, having invested poorly in failed ventures. By the time of his death, his estate was estimated at around $500,000, much of it tied to properties he had struggled to maintain. He spent his final years away from the public eye, feeling forgotten by the industry he once loved. Yvonne Craig, who portrayed Batgirl in 1967 at 30 years old, was a vibrant and intelligent heroine, bringing energy to the Batman series. However, after her time in Gotham, Craig found it difficult to land roles that matched her talents, often being relegated to guest appearances on television shows. Born on May 16, 1937, she passed away on August 17, 2015, at the age of 78 after battling breast cancer. Her personal life saw its own hardships. She was married twice, first to singer Jimmy Boyd, but the marriage ended quickly due to conflicts over career ambitions. Her second marriage to Kenneth Aldrich lasted until her passing, but she carried regrets about not having children. Despite her struggles in Hollywood, she found work outside of acting, including real estate and charity work. Financially, she was more stable than some of her Batman co-stars, with an estate valued at around $1 million at her death. Though her later years were plagued by illness, she remained grateful for the recognition she received from devoted Batman fans, who never let her fade into obscurity. Frank Gorshin, the man behind the manic energy of the Riddler, was 33 when he took on the role that would define his career. His rapid-fire delivery and frenetic body language made him one of Batman's most memorable villains. Yet, off-screen, Gorshin faced personal struggles. Married to Christina Randazzo, they had one son, Mitchell, but the marriage was often turbulent, strained by Gorshin's gambling problems and financial mismanagement. Though he continued acting in various projects, including voice work and stage performances, he never escaped the shadow of the Riddler. He battled lung cancer in his later years, passing away in 2005 at the age of 72. At the time of his death, his financial situation was precarious, with his estate valued at around $500,000, a far cry from his peak earnings. Though beloved by fans, he often lamented being typecast, never fully escaping the role that made him famous. David Wayne, who embodied the quirky and obsessive Mad Hatter in Batman, was 52 when he took on the role. Though his performance was praised, he remained overshadowed by the show's more famous villains. A respected character actor, he had a steady career, but his personal life was filled with sorrow. Married to Jane Gordon, they had 2 children, but the marriage was often strained by his long absences due to work. Though they never divorced, their relationship grew distant, and Wayne found solace in alcohol during his later years. As roles became scarce in the 1980s, financial difficulties mounted, and he was forced to downsize his lifestyle significantly. His final years were plagued by lung cancer, which ultimately claimed his life in 1995 at the age of 81. At his passing, his estate was modest, valued at around $1 million, much of which was spent on medical bills. He was remembered as a talented but often overlooked actor, who never quite achieved the recognition he had hoped for. Which character from Batman is your favorite? How do you feel knowing that some of the cast members have passed away? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for your support.